Let's take a look at linear reflections. This is lesson 3 in Unit 8, Part 2. When will you teach this lesson? Let's take a look at the big picture to find out. So as you see here in the big picture, this lesson is only taught in Math 7 Accelerated. It will be taught in the third 9 weeks, which is Unit 8, Part 2, Transformations, and it will be the third lesson. This will be taught during week 9. So if we're interested in the standards that it addresses, the helpful teacher tips, and presentation strategies, we're going to take a look at the scope and sequence. So as here you can see which standards that it addresses. For Math 7 Accelerated, Standard 42. Notice that this is struck through, the angles are taken to angles. So this is really just going to address those line segments. And also the Standard 43. This lesson is only going to discuss reflections. So for our helpful teacher tips, this is going to be similar to a previous lesson, making that connection between the physical transformation of a shape and the way its coordinates are altered. So at the end of this lesson, students should be able to generate a rule for the way that coordinates are changed by a reflection across each axis. So your presentation strategies, it takes you through and it tells you about which numbers to complete and what you and your students can do for each problem. So this lesson, as you can see, is 6 pages long. But what I'd like to focus on for this video is making sure that your students can visualize that line of reflection. So this is number 1. And I would recommend either highlighting or using a color pencil because it says that that they want you to reflect this line segment across the y-axis. And so if I highlight the y-axis, it's a whole lot easier for me to pay attention to. And then they'll proceed with the step-by-step instructions for this problem. Question number 2 is very similar, except we go across the x-axis. So we're going to take a look at 3 because it's a little bit different. So this one says, draw the line x equals 1 on the same grid with this line segment, and then reflect. So I would recommend having the students draw that line. And because it's different, it's not just across an axis. So what you're going to want them to do is notice the distance between P and the line of symmetry, or the line of reflection, I'm sorry. And so this is 2 units away from the line of reflection, so we'll want to go across that line of reflection 2 units and place a point there. So then that's going to be my P prime. Likewise, we're going to take a look at Q. We can see that Q is 1, 2, 3, 4 units away from the line of reflection. So we're going to want to draw and extend 4 units across that line of reflection so that we can plot Q prime. Once we've gotten both of our points, then we can draw a line to connect, and then there is our symmetrical line across x equals 1. So this next one I thought might be a little off as well, like that they might be confused because they're not sure how to proceed. And the only reason is, as I click through here, you'll be able to see that P actually reflects to the bottom side of this line of reflection. So we place that P prime there, whereas Q is actually going to go above the line of reflection. And so there's my Q prime there. Just reassure the students that this is correct and it's okay for one point to go across one way, whereas the other point can go across the other way. And we connect these 2 points.